I'm live. Hello, hello. Let's do this Saturday, but ran out of time. Doing it right now because it's 95 outside and it's only 1:30. Nothing to do outside when it's that hot. Actually, I do have a lot to do, but I'm just not doing it. No way, was I? I'll sit here. If anybody comes in Tuesday, so might not be anybody show up. That's fine. Oh, so let's see what's in my camera. That's what that was. That was a flower pot. I filled this thing with ice. My niece gave me this for Christmas. I probably use this more than anything I've ever got for a Christmas present. It'll keep ice overnight if I have stuff in it. So anyway, yeah, it's nice thermal flask. I like it because you can turn it and still, you don't have to tip it up to drink it. It's got a straw in it. I will put ice in there, fill it up pretty high, big chunks of ice, and then I will pour about half to a third of a teaspoon of it's like a knockoff for Element. Not big on salty stuff, but it has a really salty taste to it. So I use about a third of a teaspoon of that because I'm noticing I'm getting calf cramps when I stretch in the morning. My right calf will start grabbing. So I know I'm low in magnesium. Hey, who gave me the second thumbs up? Thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyway, yeah, so I've been taking that. I don't have any in it right now, but I've even been putting I went crazy yesterday and bought a ton of soda water and some Zevia. Since I started doing carnivore, I've been experimenting with if anything changes my weight. Not so far. It was really weird. What did I have the other day that kept me awake? I had two things. Well, a couple weeks ago, I had some yogurt, that homemade yogurt stuff, and I put some allulose in it. And hey, Cindy, good afternoon. Yeah, keep cool, girl. It's hot here, 95. But I had that, and I noticed it kept me awake all night. So I figured, okay, I'm reacting to yogurt right now, so I'm not going to be drinking that. I did do keto for years, 8 years, I think. A few little things where I just purposely went out and had something I shouldn't have. I didn't want to feel totally restricted. It's like I'd go have a cupcake or something. I really wanted the frosting off of it. It wasn't the cake. I'm not a big fan of cake. I like pie. I don't like dry, sticky stuff. Anyway, only maybe once towards the end before I started carnivore, probably once or twice. No, it was like once every 2 months or so. And I would get jalapeno poppers, which are mostly cream cheese and chopped up jalapenos with crap on top. The bad crap, it had seed oils in it. They fry it in seed oil. So I had that, but I noticed anyway that I had been gaining weight. Obviously, you know that if you've been listening. From when my cat died, the stress from that. And I'm one of those people that emotional stress messes with me really bad, and it raises my insulin, which is interesting because I do notice that emotional stuff, yeah, it does it more than physical. Though the other day I was out when I mowed the lawn, I took 7 hours and it was really hot. I still wasn't done, but I left a bunch for the goats. I came in and I think that's the night I didn't sleep. I can't remember. Something happened this past week anyway that I didn't sleep. And I believe that's what it was, because I had the allulose, which, as I understand it, from one doctor, he said, well, allulose helps lower your insulin resistance. He said there's good evidence of that. But I noticed it was tasting kind of weird to me lately. I was like, yeah. But I was using it for about a month. And I just didn't want sweet stuff, so I got rid of it. Anyway, the day I couldn't figure out why I didn't sleep that night, because I hate not sleeping, especially on a Tuesday night, because Wednesday nights which the next day, if I don't have any sleep the night before, I'm usually on with Deb for an extra hour to hour and a half, which puts me in the seat for 5.5 or 3.5, 4.5 hours. And on no sleep, the no sleep thing is really, really hard on me. And when my kitty disappeared, I wasn't sleeping. All I could think about was, where is he? What's going on? I was very upset. And that emotional stress, and then not sleeping, I gained weight and I could feel the fat growing on my stomach. It was, I did that before when I gained weight, but I could feel it actually. But I've got, with the insulin resistance, I don't have it on the insides of my arms, but I have it on the back of my neck. There's a rash that you get when you've got bad insulin resistance on the back of my neck from about here down. That was my shampoo. I mean, you try to think about what it is. That is my shampoo. So I switched shampoos. I bought different shampoo. I have my own shampoo that I sell, but it was, I thought that's what it was. I thought, well, maybe it's just staying, my hair's there, so it's causing the problem. And I couldn't figure it out. I put my hair up and I still had it. And I had it on my belly button. I had it here. It's like wherever the skin touches or something stays on your body that doesn't let the skin breathe, that's where you get the rash. Well, mine was not bad. Like, I can take a shower, I scrub with a scrubby mitt really hard, I scrub all over, and I get out of the shower, everything's soft and smooth. By the next day, I've got this growth of excess. The skin, it's like it grows too fast there. So you'll have like, it's not dandruff, it's just like, well, it's kind of like dandruff. I guess it's extra skin, but it's, I have it here. It kind of goes from here to here, and have it on the back of my neck, have it in my armpits, and have it along the insides of my legs, in the butt crack, along the top of the butt crack. When the skin starts growing, it itches. So I'd have this itchy area. But usually it's light. It's not dark red or anything like that. But the other day, I woke up and it was dark red. Well, that's the day after I had been mowing. And apparently the heat, the sun, and all that, and I hadn't been drinking water. I didn't drink enough. I just didn't take it with me. Hi, Pink Panther. Malibu Colony Rehab Center. Like he would ever do that. I can't believe you can see those. You guys got good eyes. Oh, it was behind me. Yeah, the troll doll. I got 2 of them. I've got a boy and a girl. I think there's somebody left them out in the shed. My niece probably. Anyway, yeah. So I'm watching videos because I had psoriasis, and I got rid of the psoriasis using D3. It took me about 6 to 9 months before it was completely gone. All I had left was what I've got, like I just described to you. And I thought, why isn't that going away? Because I thought it was psoriasis for a couple of years. Then about 3-4 months ago, probably 5 months ago, I'm watching Eric Berg, and he named off the same areas, and he says that the fungal infection. I thought, well, I lived in Florida, and those hurricanes bring in stuff from Africa. That's where they originate, is in Africa. And that stuff goes aloft, and maybe I did get it from that. Oh, and also behind my ears and in my ears. I've had this stuff in my ears since Florida. Really bad. It was so bad that my ears filled up, and I literally was deaf. There was no access to anything, and I literally was deaf for a few days. Very interesting stuff. But it was water. I would turn on my side, and I'd take paper towels and roll them up as tight as I could and shove them in my ear canal, and then wrap it around my ear. And I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night because it was totally soaked. And I'd have to think of that infection I must have had. Or weeping. Sometimes the body doesn't have infection, but it will weep from irritation. Anyway, when I moved back up here, that rescinded a lot. It was still there, but it was a lot better. But so I'm looking at Eric Berg. He says, well, what you do is you take rice and you rinse it really good in water, and then you let it sit in water. He said how much to put in it, and let it sit on the countertop for 3 or 4 days. And then take the rice out and use that water. He says that will kill the fungus. Okay, so I did that. That didn't help. And I was like, I thought, well, maybe it's because I didn't let it sit long enough or whatever. but it didn't even knock it, didn't even change it a bit. And I'm squirming around because my underwire's itching me really bad in that area there. Not quite right. If I if I rub that dead skin off, it'll be wet. It was like, what is that? Must be peeling off my design. It's a weird thing. So anyway, I'm watching Dr. Bosworth about 3 weeks ago, and she said these are the signs of high insulin resistance. And I'm like, what? Insulin resistance? I've been on keto for 8 years, and now I'm doing this. How can I have insulin resistance? Well, guess what can cause insulin resistance? Stress. And if it's one thing I've had a bucket full, it's stress. I thought I'd pulled out of most of that, but stress is. I traced it back to when it got worse when it started spreading really bad when my cat disappeared. And I was talking to Humi, and he said something. It's like the light bulb came on. It's like, duh. This goes to when I started gaining weight was when the kitty disappeared. I was so stressed out about that. I couldn't sleep. I worried about where he was. I marched around the neighborhood. I made up posters. And I felt guilty because the reason he was outside was he thought I was not home because my bedroom door was shut. It was never shut. It was always open for him. Once he came in, I would close it so Haas couldn't come in. Yeah, but it happened, and I felt really guilty about that. So that if I just got him in the bedroom, because the last video I've got of him outside of the security cams was him walking to the fence, because he'd always go out there and wait for me if I went to town, literally winter or summer. If I went to Spokane and came back 5 hours, 6 hours later, he would be sitting there waiting for me. And he was heading out that way at 6 in the morning. And the fence was, there's the gates closed, fences all up. I don't know what, I still to this day don't know what happened to him. No idea, but if he's dead, he's in heaven waiting for me. So I try to console myself with that. So, and I guess I had a dream about him the other night, which was really weird. He was walking towards me, and I was like, "Oh, kitty!" And I ran and grabbed him, picked him up, but it was like something wasn't right. I was holding him, but it was like something was really, really wrong. So maybe he's dead. My brain's going, "Hey, dummy, he's not here." I don't know, but it was a strange dream. He was such a cute little guy. So anyway, stress. And Dr. Buzz said those very same symptoms that I have now. And she said, the front of your calf, push on it with your thumb for a minute hard and pull it away. And if there's a dent there, you've got insulin resistance, which I thought that makes sense because this is similar to the front of my calf, right here. Well, I can feel my bone there. I can feel my bone, even though it's under all this gunk. I can feel the bone. My calf, I can't. There's a padding like that. She says that's from the insulin resistance. She says not fat, it's from the insulin resistance. I said, oh, great, I got it. And I knew right then. So I had to look up how to fix that. And this is at this point right now, I'm 10 and a half weeks into Carnivore. And I have been around between, depending what I'm wearing. I do believe that, hi, Ellen, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. This is good for men and women to know because both have insulin resistance. And if you have insulin resistance, if you got a tummy on you, you got insulin resistance pretty much flat out. And I looked down and was like, yep, I sure do. And I never used to have a stomach. Even when I was really heavy, I never had a stomach until I went through the stress of my mom and dad. My gut was so stinking big, I could almost put a plate on it and rest it there when I was sitting down. I'm like, wow. And I had no idea how really fat I was because I never looked in the mirror until somebody took some pictures of me out in the yard over at the other place. I'm like, who is that? What on earth? I couldn't believe how fat I was because I didn't look in the mirror. I knew my clothes were getting big. I knew I was getting fat because I got to the point where I couldn't find clothes to fit me anymore. And I was worried about getting bigger, but I didn't think how really big I was. I think I was probably a size 18 and everything was tight, really tight. And I thought I can't gain any more weight because if I do, there's no place I can buy clothes. And because 18 is pretty much the top end of what they sold at that time, like in Walmart or whatever, because I wasn't going to buy expensive clothes because I look like crap no matter what I wore. So why buy anything expensive? Which I wouldn't. Yard sales, stuff like that. A lot of times I was wearing men's clothes. easier to find. So back then I went on keto. I actually did lose the weight the second time when I went on, and I stayed on it. And then after the keto, I started gaining that weight, and I couldn't figure out why. So insulin resistance, here I am. So I looked up, how do you get rid of it? And they said, exercise. It doesn't have to be, you can just be out walking. You can be just moving around. Because I just spend a lot of time sitting my big fat butt in this chair. Not to get involved in stress, try to keep de-stressed as much as possible. Certain vitamins and minerals help, magnesium, which I know I keep using up a lot of magnesium because I'll take it, and then if I don't take it every single day, I'll get muscle cramps if I stretch. So I know that I'm using up a lot of magnesium. So I am still in probably the heat. It may be the heat. The other day, my sister was here and she goes, we were outside. What did we do? I think I was helping her put the car cover back on the car because she has a car stored here. Just outside doing things. It was fairly hot, probably 90 degrees. And we came to the house and she goes, what's wrong with you? And she said, your whole face is beet red and you've got white around here. Well, I've done that ever since I was young. If I get too warm, like right now, I've got this here. I keep getting these ever since I left. The last month and a half, I've been getting like not a super bad hot flash, but I can feel my body heating up. So I turned on my fan. I'm sorry if that. It's 83 in here inside right now. But I'll turn it on for a while and then I'll get cold. And then I turn it off. But my face was very flushed, super red, and I had this white right around my mouth and usually right around my nose too. And I looked it up yesterday, and apparently it's just something some people do. That's what they say, but that's usually not. You go look deep enough, you're going to find out that's actually the result of something else. Hi, Nancy. I'm so glad to see you. Yeah, I missed Saturday. Usually I do this on Saturday. I was busy Saturday, and I was kind of not feeling all that great because this is okay. I got to tell this story. This is really weird. Oh wait, let me tell you what else it was. Okay, not having too much stress, of course, not eating carbs, exercise, taking certain nutrients like zinc, vitamin C, EFAs, which I do off and on like a couple times a week. I might need to be taking more, but I've been taking about 2,000 milligrams of water soluble vitamin C. I've been taking my D and my vitamin A, but oh yes, I got to keep remembering, I've got the bottle sitting right there, iodine. So I'm trying to get my insulin resistance to drop. So I've been trying to do a little bit more stuff and, keep more active and all that. Well, anyway, Dr. Bright said that some people will go about 10 and a half weeks and then all of a sudden start losing weight. I didn't know why, but that's what it took. On keto, it took me it was in the 5th month that I finally started losing weight. So I've been weighing myself. I bought a scale. My weight has been between 97 and 200, depending what I'm wearing. It was always the clothes because I'd wear different pajamas to bed. And it was like, I started wearing my pants and my t-shirt and doing that like this. And so yesterday I weighed 200 I was at 199, which is normal. It'll be 199 to 200. 97. I was 197 one day. And that's about a month ago. And that was what I was wearing. It was just a light pajama thing. So today I got on the scale and I wrote it down. I was 194.6 when I was 200 yesterday. So I lost 5.5 pounds overnight, and it wasn't water weight. So maybe finally, I don't expect it to come off that fast, but I don't know for sure if that's one of the reasons I want to do this today, because this is mainly an update for myself, kind of like a diary. But yeah, to have lost that much, I'm thinking, well, that's interesting. So we'll see tomorrow if I maintain that 194.6. We'll see. I was shocked when I saw it. Did I sleep a lot last night? Because sleep is really important when you do anything. And carnivore does help you sleep. Well, I noticed that one day the yogurt kept me up, and that would be probably some kind of an intolerance to it. Probably I put allulose in it. I didn't finish it all, but it might just have had too much whey protein in it. Because yogurt, if you get that water on top, you need to, if you're doing low carb, you need to drain that off because it's carbs. The whey has carbs in it. Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, stress. I remember, I've known for years that stress causes cancer. Years I've known that, many, many years. You think about people that have lost a child, especially to some violence or tragedy or something like that. Within a couple of years, one or both of the parents die. That's how bad the stress is. It's very sad. And I knew that. So when my mom and dad died, and especially the way they died, I was very careful to try and manage stress as much as possible. But anyway, was it the other night? No, it was after I had mowed the yard. So I was trying to think what I ate. Okay, I had my Cavender seasoning. I use that Cavender stuff. I discovered that at Anderson's pea soup 40 years ago. They would use it to sprinkle on the pea soup. It was such a good seasoning. I had that. I had something else that might have been the allulose. I had some allulose and something. I had to, why would that make me break out so bad? I've used it before. I never had this problem before. Well, I realized that it was being out in the sun. And get this, see this arm here? 7 hours in the sun. Started at noon. There's no burn. A little bit of a tan, no burn. The day I was out there, I got in that night and I had a little bit of heat here. Not much. But people on carnivore are saying they don't burn anymore. So it makes me wonder if that people burn because of the sugar. Their blood sugar, their blood glucose is high because they're eating carbs. I don't eat carbs, so my guess is that's why. I'm waiting to see once my insulin resistance goes down. I can't wait to see if bugs bite me. Oh geez, I'm getting a phone call. Still. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting that the burn didn't happen. My nose is it's a little rosy, but it doesn't never hurt. It didn't feel like it was burnt. So anyway, yeah, that burn thing is a nice thing because I like being out in the sun. But when I'm out there, I still get a little bit dizzy. So that's probably my insulin. Excuse me, it's probably insulin for stress from the heat because I'm able to handle heat better because my thyroid has my adrenals, which you think adrenals and thyroid, they go together. They're basically the same thing. Because the adrenals block thyroid uptake. So you'll have hypothyroid symptoms when it's being caused by adrenals. It took me 30 years to figure that one out. After several doctors insisted, that's what it was. They weren't normal doctors. These were world-class thyroid doctors. Dr. Wilson, Dr. Berry, and Dr. Derry, excuse me, and Dr. Ryan in DC. Dr. Derry is dead now. He lived in Vancouver. Anyway, here nor there. They insisted you got adrenal problems. Go check it. This you got adrenal, and I was like, no, it's thyroid because I was stupid and didn't. Finally, I went and dug into the adrenal stuff, and sure enough, that's what it was. So anyway, I did notice being on keto that my tolerance for heat and cold was immensely different. When I worked at the park in my 20s and 30s, early 30s, June, which we just left yesterday, I was outside from March until the end of October usually. That was I worked about 6 months out of the year as seasonal, and I was always outside, and I was in a golf cart with no top on. It was a Cushman. I was always exposed to the weather. And even into some parts of July, I would be wearing a tank top, a t-shirt, my uniform top, a sweater, and a down coat, and sometimes a waterproof raincoat over the top of that. And that was what I wore when it was 85 degrees outside because it was so cold. And if you've never had this before, any kind of thyroid issues with being cold, it's not like just getting a chill. My teeth would be cold, my nose would be cold, my tongue would be cold. I get so cold sometimes I had a hard time talking. Hey Susie, how are you doing? Good to see you out there. And it's a cold to the core. Your stomach, you can feel your core being cold. And what your body does, it'll start trying to have hot flashes. That's when you see people that are hypothermic without clothes on and that they find them dead out in the woods or in a snowbank. You get these wicked, wicked hot flashes. And it's your body warming up, trying to force heat to keep you from dying, but it's sucking the energy out of your core and it goes to your limbs and you get this horrible heat. And I had that starting at 42. I started getting really bad hot flashes that would last for 18, 20 minutes. I'd get a 3-minute respite, and I had a metal headboard, and I used to wrap my arms in it when I'd get these to try and cool off. I'd put my wrists to it and try to hang onto that metal just to cool off a little bit. But the problem was my body was already super, super cold. And trying to cool it off further by being around cold things or touching cold things put it into a crisis. Because, like I've said this before, the old mercury thermometers, you'd shake them down. The lowest reading on, you have a mercury thermometer that long, the measurement goes from here to here, and from here to here, about an inch of it going down into the bulb, there's no markings. The lowest reading is 94 degrees. And I would shake the thermometer down and put it under my arm, or I always put it next to my heart. The warmest place in my body is close to where this big muscle is, that's creating heat. And it would not move the bulb. I put it under my tongue. It would not move the mercury out of that bulb. So I'm guessing I was probably around 92 degrees. That's hypothermic. Severely hypothyroid is what my heart doctor said. He said, oh my God, because he had me do that test. That's what the old doctors used to do. They didn't use blood tests because blood tests only tell you if you have the hormones. Can't tell you if you're using them. I had hormones, but I wasn't using them because the adrenals blocked it off. So I know those, that was a bug. How did I do that? Those rolling ones you rolled across your forehead. I got one of those. That was a waste of money because it says error, error. I never got it to work because my forehead was never warm enough to register any heat at all. I have the thyroid too, autoimmune. Yeah, and you know what? Carnivore will get rid of that. If you're on it long enough, you're going to have a recovery, I believe. You have an infrared mat for bed, under mattress cover that heats the core, might help. You know what? I used to just sit in a hot tub. I'd pour a hot tub. I sat in a literal hot tub my niece was working at a Comfort Inn, and I would go there and sit in a hot tub. And people would they get in it, and about 5 minutes later, they'd be hopping out and jumping in the pool. I would be in there a half hour, 45 minutes. And still, I'd reach up and touch my upper arms, and they were cold. My skin was literally cold. Like it is right now, but I've had the fan on me. See if this this is almost warm. But yes, if Nancy, I know that you're discussing doing carnivore. It does help because when you eat food, I've talked to this a million times, the food is toxic. They've made it that way. Look at, they're giving them 2 years to take the dye out of soda pop and cereal. Why? Why aren't they saying tomorrow? Okay, no dye, that's fine. And then when you get the dyes coming in, get the natural dye if you have to dye something. But no, they're giving them a couple of years to do this, which is bunk. In the meantime, people are getting sick. I just watched a really good video. It was only up for an hour when I saw it this morning. A man who had kidney disease, really bad. He was dying. And he started doing carnivore. And he said it didn't take long for him. And it was like, boom, his doctor. Yeah, I'm going to play it Friday if I remember to. It's really, really good. Anyway, 97 degrees, it's 2 o'clock. It'll probably go up to about 104 today. Anyway, yeah, you're going to notice that when you change the food that you eat, also you have sensitivities. People, when you have autoimmune, you tend to have sensitivities to certain foods, like well, sugar. I think everybody has a sensitivity to that anymore. I don't know that people used to. In the old days, people ate. They don't eat sugar like we do now, but they used to eat a lot of sugar and they ate a lot of flour. They would go to town and that would be the one thing they couldn't grow. So they would buy big bags of sugar and big bags of flour and take it home. And that's what they remember, the big flour sacks that were so pretty that they made into pillowcases and stuff. It wasn't toxic like it is now. And they purposely, I believe, made it toxic. So yes, when you do keto, I would start out with keto and see how you do on keto. It's not as easy. Carnivore is easy in that you only have certain foods you eat. So it's not hard to figure out if it's carnivore. If it's an animal product, it's carnivore. Not milk. Milk has a lot of carbs in it, but for the rest of it, generally, you have to read packages because they stick sugar and flour and all that stuff and things like cheese. But for the most part, bacon, butter, eggs, cheese, if you can tolerate it. Some people can't. You do your keto. You can have certain vegetables, berries in very small moderation. What else? Like you can do coconut milk if it doesn't have carbs. You always look for the carbs. You always look on the package for carbs. If it's got carbs, you're not going to be eating it, which makes it fairly easy. And it's a good thing to transition. If you get the results you want, awesome, because then you can still have a salad, or you can have green beans, or you can have, there's different things like radishes. There's certain vegetables you can have. No potatoes, that's pretty much, or no apples, no pineapple. You don't want any sweet. Although you can have stevia, you can have allulose, and you can have erythritol as sweeteners. And you can, right now with keto, you can make just about anything. They've got substitutes and really good recipes for that for keto. And you do keto for maybe 6 months. It's basically you cut out starches and sugar, and that's really basically keto. And there are a lot of good guidelines. Yes, so much is GMO or toxic. And then the seed oils. You don't want me to add consuming seed oils. You can have coconut oil. Technically, avocado oil is a seed oil. I'm not sure if it's got the toxins. I got pardon. You can have lard, you can have butter, you can have, well, like bacon. I take my bacon and pour the grease into a can, and then because it always has those bits and chunks in it, and then I pour it, I warm the can up. I just take it and scrape it all into a fry pan, warm it up, just warm enough that it's liquid, and then I put a little sieve over the top of the can and pour it back in, and it strains out all the bits. And I actually made a mayonnaise with that, and it turned out it was actually really good. It's not something I would eat all the time as mayonnaise, but it was pretty good. I did that with a steak too. When I cook a steak, I used to use a lot of butter, but I don't even bother with that anymore. I just take this, because you always get fatty cuts of meat, and so it puts off a lot of fat in the pan. And before it gets hard, I will take a spatula, because I have nonstick pans that things still kind of stick a little bit. I'll take a spatula and scrape all that fat and put it into another can. And then I strain that after it gets so full. I'll strain that and then use that as things to fry things in. I'm going to fry like an egg or something. I can put that in there. That works pretty good. Yeah, and that GMO stuff, the toxins, that's done on purpose. That's not by accident. They've done it on purpose to make us sick. And it makes us more susceptible to their vaccines, things like that. And we saw it happen. So also something else that I noticed when I ate something, what was it? It was the yogurt. That was about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. That my eyes, I woke up and I couldn't even see my eyelids. All my eyes swelled up, and I had these big puffy areas under. I still got I got this frowny mark here. I'm gonna get rid of that. But I did also something I noticed fairly early on. My sister noticed it too. I had a big red area here, flushed. I always look flushed right here. And when I went on carnivore, that went away. And that's inflammation. I've noticed that my joints that used to hurt, like I couldn't lay, one of my favorite things to do, I don't know why, just people have weird positions. I'd lay on my back and I would bend my right knee and have my foot cradled around my left knee. I got to where I couldn't do that anymore. It was like I thought my tendons were too stiff. My leg wouldn't lay flat, my knee wouldn't lay flat on the bed, and it was an uncomfortable position to be in. That's been within the last year, I guess. But I can do it now. I have the mobility again. I've got the range of motion. I don't have problems with that anymore. I do know if I eat something that's got a seed oil, like I tried, tried something recently. Because you'll find when you do carnivore, you'll start experimenting. Not so much on keto. If you've still got sore joints or problems on keto, you're sensitive to something. But do keto first. If you're going to do carnivore, I'd suggest you do, unless your health is in a really bad shape, like we have a member I'm thinking of specifically in very bad shape. Carnivore would benefit them so much, but they don't seem to want to do that. Oh, you know what? I'm on the wrong channel. That's all right. That's all right. I have a Carnivore Cafe channel and YouTube, and I wanted to shift things over there. I'm not sure. I might be able to share these videos over there. I'll see if I can move them over. But no joints. I noticed that your joints feel better. A lot of collagen in beef, and beef is probably everybody's favorite. And I tend to eat a lot of beef, which I really like. And I kind of craved it. You got your B1, a lot of B1 in that. People that have congestive heart failure find, like Carrie with Healing Humanity, going on carnivore, got rid of his congestive heart failure. Well, it's because of the B1 in the meat. We're supposed to be getting our vitamins from the food, and it does help. If you have gallbladder problems, have to watch the grease intake. There's something you can take. You can take ox bile for that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that it did help people, even though they had gallbladder problems. The carnivore diet did help them. There is an adjustment if you do carnivore, because like anything, when you start something new, extra fat in the diet might give you diarrhea. It might, because you'll have a deal where your body's trying to adjust to the extra protein and fat. I never got diarrhea from it, but I was already doing carnivore keto. So yeah, the keto thing helps, because I got to the point doing keto this last year. I had a strawberry smoothie, one strawberry smoothie. I had frozen strawberries, and I put them in a blender with some water and some milk, or not milk, cream, heavy cream. I always put an egg in there for protein, raw egg. I can't remember. I think I put some stevia in there. I'm trying to think if I used the Osteo Effects. Usually I put that in. I don't remember if I did it with this. Anyway, I just made a quick smoothie with it and some ice cubes, I think. But they were frozen strawberries, so it was really thick. And it was really good, but I just didn't want another. And that was in the past year. That's all the fruit I had. I didn't want fruit anymore. And I thought that was kind of weird. And then I got to where vegetables didn't sound any good. I got down to where I was just having a salad with a little bit of cabbage for crunch, tomato. What else did I put in there? Tomato and peppers, those little sweet peppers. And I'd put a couple boiled eggs on there, and that was supper. But I wasn't, and I was still getting IBS. I was still getting gut cramps and all that. And I thought at first it was something. I kept thinking it was a collagen. I do think it was collagen. Part of it was collagen. I'll tell you why in a minute. But yeah, I got to where that's all the vegetables I was eating and just having meat with it. But my caloric intake was but I just wasn't hungry. It was probably around 600 to 800 calories a day. And I had salad dressing on Thousand Island salad dressing was the one splurge I had on keto. That's probably where almost all of my carbs came from. But I was getting sore joints. I had the muscle, like I said, I couldn't lay on my back with my knee bent touching the bed. It hurt. and I didn't have the range. I couldn't lay it flat. I know it was my arm too. If I laid it out, I couldn't lay it flat. So there were weird things going on with my tendons and my ligaments. And as soon as I started carnivore, within a very short time, wasn't eating the Thousand Island anymore. And guess what? That was the seed oil in there. I was meant to rate them and tell them they need to change their oils. They'd sell a lot more salad dressing, but neither here nor there now. Anyway, yeah, just stopping the salads. I was carnivore, excuse me. So I was already practically carnivore anyway. It wasn't a big sacrifice for me to transition over. Where a lot of people, if you're just hopping into it, it's a big change because you're not having your bread, you're not having pasta, you're not having spaghetti sauce, you're not having like pizza dough, you're not all that stuff, you're not having it anymore. So anyway, if you do start keto first, I do that for at least a few months, see how you feel. It might be good enough for you. For me, I've been autoimmune. I've had problems for all my life. When I was like 5 years old, 4 years old, I would sit on the heat vents until my legs burned to get warm. I've been like this a long, long time. So I've got it's a little bit harder for me to get results from things. But once I do, it seems like it's nice. So I can't wait. I can't wait to lose some weight. Because my reward for me with this is getting rid of all that, the old hound dog, this hound dog stuff here, getting rid of this, pull my face up a little bit because it does help your skin does tend to suck. If you're really overweight, I'm overweight enough that I should have saggy skin, but I noticed when I did keto and lost all that weight, I didn't. The skin was pulling tight. Like this stuff here. Oh, this is all the, see how I've got the lumpy crap there. See, I've got this dimple here. This is all lipedema. There's a little fat in there, but this is lipedema, this stuff here. You can see the bumps. All that bump. What is it? Oh, that's my elbow, my poor little elbow. It's buried in lipedema. But see all that? So I want to show you guys this because at some point there's gonna be somebody watch this video and they're gonna see this and say, oh my God, that's me. But yeah, see, this is all lipedema. And the skin is loose. It's not tight. It will get tight because this stuff, I had this before when I did keto and it went away. I don't remember how long it took, but yeah, I've got it up here too. I've got saggage. Looks like it might be getting better. All this here, this whole area here, there's nothing there but skin and fat, lipedema fat. There's nothing there. My arm should look like that. It looks like that, and it's all floppy. So that will suck up and go away. Because generally you start, I don't snack. I've never been a snacker, don't like snacking, but some people do, which you can do when you first start out. It's not a big deal. The whole point is just getting you off the toxic food. And that's what keto really helps with, is getting you off the toxic food. And you have to start learning to read labels. You don't want any kind of grain. The grains, a lot of them have, excuse me, they have toxins sprayed on them. I know of Roundup being sprayed on them. What else? I don't know. Many things. So you don't want seed oils. You don't want grains. A lot of people love oatmeal. I did. Absolutely loved the old-fashioned oatmeal. Oh, used to love it. I'd put butter and maple syrup on it and cream. That was like, oh, I loved it. Well, thinking about it now, I remember what it tastes like. If you put a bowl in front of me, I wouldn't even be tempted. That's one thing that people notice on carnivore is that you lose the desire to eat food you used to love. So some people call it an addiction. For me, I don't think it's an addiction because sugar seems to be the worst culprit with that. I don't crave it. After a few days on carnivore, I didn't crave anything. I was like, and they talk about how freeing it is to do carnivore because you're not thinking. I remember when I was a lot younger, before I did keto, I remember I would be eating something because I never ate breakfast, so it would be lunch. And I'd be thinking while I was eating lunch what I could have for supper. It's like, what can I eat for supper? I wasn't satisfied with what I was eating because it was crap food. Not crap food because I was ate fairly healthy, but for what we assume is healthy. But I was just anxious to get to the next. And so I ended up going to where I was just eating a can of green beans with some vinegar on them. salt and pepper. That was supper. One thing, because I just didn't have time to really cook, and it made my belly full, and I was good with that. I figured, oh, it's good. It's not fat. I can eat that. And fat, you need fat. Your body's craving fat, man. I'm telling you. So anyway, if you guys aren't doing carnivore right now, think about stepping into keto. The keto twins they're kind of dirty keto though. Steve from Serious Keto is a good one to start with. He has good information. There are keto cookbooks. All Day I Dream About Food. But I just tell you, guess why she labeled it that? Because certain people, if you're not getting the nutrients you need, all you can think about is eating food because your body's desperate for the nutrients, which is what our food is. Our food isn't supposed to be super yummy. I mean, it's nice when it is. It's supposed to be super nutrient dense. And so if you're not getting what you need, you're going to be have all kinds of cravings. And if you're craving sugar, you're probably low in potassium. Don't ask me why your body does that to you, but it doesn't crave like avocados, which have a ton of potassium, more than bananas. It'll crave sugar. I learned that years and years ago. Anyway, yeah, so what you want to do if you're doing keto, look for some good. Dr. Berg is pretty good with that. He's learned a lot in the last 8 or 10 years. Dr. Berg, Dr. Berry have really good information on keto. You don't want to, you want to make sure you do it. If you're going to do it right. No cheating. Don't be cheating because, the first couple of weeks is a little bit of willpower because you have to give up your breads and you have to give up your donuts and your pie and your oatmeal, all that. Yeah, you're giving it up. Then just tell yourself, okay, it's going to be, just say, oh, it'll be for 3 months. I'll try it for 3 months. And I'll tell you what, the first time I went on it, I didn't lose weight. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to lose weight. It wasn't happening. That's when I got my biggest. That's when I was a balloon. I didn't lose weight and I got really frustrated and quit. But I noticed when I quit, I felt so much better on keto, not eating sugar and not eating all the grains. I went back on it because I wanted to feel better. I got sick of having acid reflux. It all went away when I started keto. The GERD, all that garbage went away. I would get IBS. I would have severe gut twisting cramps when it didn't happen all the time, and it took me a long time to narrow it down. But I've been taking collagen and Vital Proteins collagen, and I would put that in my smoothie. Back when I had those last year, I would put it in my coffee. I think I was putting in something, but I noticed I finally narrowed it down to the collagen. It was giving me insane, like passing out gut cramps. It was so bad. I felt like I was dying. It was horrible. So I saw that they came out with a new brand or a new formula, which was probiotics with collagen. I thought, well, I'll try that and see. So the first canister I got, I didn't get the gut cramps with it, which was yay. Finally, because I like taking the collagen, but I wasn't doing carnivore then. This is when I was keto. The second canister got the gut cramps back. So I don't know if they changed the formula, put fewer probiotics. I don't know what happened, but the next canister, I took it back to Costco. So I'm not paying $40 for this thing. They did something because they changed something, and I was like, I can't do it. So never got gut cramps again. And that was from that collagen stuff. So you have to keep, and one thing about carnivore, what I like about it, they call it an elimination diet because you're eliminating just everything but meat and fat. So for 3 months, let's see, what's this, 11th week, a week and a half, I'll have put in 3 months. And then if you want, you can reintroduce something like, say, you can eat an avocado every other day and see how you feel. If you feel good, you can keep avocados. It's like reintroducing things. Now, when I was on keto, I did do cream and I did butter. I did cottage cheese, not a lot. I'm not a big fan, but I did do some just for variety. I used a little bit of sour cream because I'd make taco meat. And so, the sour cream on the taco meat is usually the best part anyway. But I would do things like that. I would have dairy, no milk, no, just low carb dairy. And like I said, even with dairy, you have to look at the labels because they'll stick Kerrigan, Walmart cream. No, it's garbage. It's garbage. It's got Kerrigan in it. It's got a bunch of other garbage in it. So don't buy the Walmart brand. Great value. That's the reason it's a great value, because they cram everything in there but cream. Anyway, I did that and I still lost the weight. At 5 months, I started losing weight. So I kind of figured it would be like this. Because the main reason I went on carnivore was to lose weight. I'm determined because when I'm heavy, I don't feel good. Who feels good when they're fat? Nobody does. You feel like crap. So I wanted to feel good again and have some energy. The energy issue, I'm still having problems with energy. I don't know why. Might not be getting enough fat. Hard to say. And 3 weeks ago, Jill K told me to, she said, because I've been telling her the first month I did the amount of calories to maintain my body weight, 1,600 calories. For my height, that was the amount of calories I should have a day. And I was having problems because all day I was eating. I'd sit down and have it's like, oh my gosh, stuffing all that food. It made me sick. I was eating because that's so much more than I was used. That's 3 times as much as I was used to eating. And so I'd eat breakfast and then I'd sit there and think, oh my God, now I've got to eat supper. Oh, I was still full. Had a hard time with it. And so I said, well, just eat 3 meals a day instead of 2 and just make them smaller, which helped a little bit, but I still didn't like that full feeling. And anyway, I got it up to that, stayed there for a month, and Kelly Hogan discussed, now drop your calories after you maintain weight, drop your calories by 100 or 200 calories a day, and you should start losing weight. So I did that the next month. No, I was gaining weight the whole time. I gained weight on the first month. I gained weight on the second month. And Jill said, 2 or 3 weeks, let's see, would have been my 9th week. When I started my 9th week, she said, just eat when you're hungry. And I thought, okay, that takes the stress off. And even if I'm not eating enough, which I was worried about, because if you eat too little, you're not going to lose weight. You're just not. So I thought, okay, I can, because now that I'm used to eating a larger amount, and I have an idea of how much, okay, this much steak is about 800 calories. I know what the kind of the guideline is. So I'm not keeping track of my calories. I know I'm eating less. And then today I lost weight. I woke up this morning and I was, 4 or 5 pounds lighter overnight, where I've been at this exact same weight pretty much within a pound for the past, when did I buy my scale? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? So that's what I'm doing, is I'm cutting back on, not purposely, just eating when I'm hungry. And that took so much of the pressure off. So I was stressed too, having to try and choke down food when I didn't want it. So that was good. That was good. And I hope to keep, I don't know that I'll keep losing weight that fast, but Dr. Elizabeth Bright said it's actually better when you don't lose weight like she said, that people that lose weight steadily from the beginning, the people that lose it after the 10.5 weeks tend to lose more and get lower weight to where they want to be faster, which is good for me. If it took 10.5 weeks, I'm there right now, so I'm good with that, which is weird. You only eat 2 meals a day. Yeah, I used to only eat once or twice a day. My eating window I never ate after 6. I just made up my mind. So, okay, I don't eat after 6. And I did that for decades. But generally I wouldn't eat till about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And then my last meal was around 5. So I had like a 4-hour eating window. So for 20 hours, I wasn't eating anything. And that is called intermittent fasting. There are different windows. You can do, you can have a 4-hour window with 20 hours not eating, or you can have a 5-hour window with 19. You can do 18 and 6 is usually what people do. So you can do it like that. Yeah, if you already only eat 2 meals a day, meat is nutrient dense, so your body gets what you need, and you don't go to the bathroom as much, which is really weird. You just don't go to the bathroom as much because what you're eating is being used for energy, so your body's using it. It's actually converting what you're eating into fuel, which is a strange thing, but that's true. And that's one of the weird things I heard when I first started, was that, yeah, you're not going to go to the bathroom as much. So I thought, well, that's interesting. Just think of the money you'll save on toilet paper or food. So yeah, you'll be buying food. Like when I go to Costco, which is where I get most all of my meat, every it was 2 months. I spend a lot of money, $500 on meat, eggs, cream. But when I buy cream at Costco, I get 4 of the big containers. I think it's a half gallon. I get 4 of those. And they'll last me about 2 months, and they've got a long expiration date on them. Like I could buy one today and it doesn't expire till like August 16th or something. So, but they've come down in price. They're about $9, $9.50 for a big container again. But I spent a lot of money. But I get home, I buy the chuck steak or chuck roast, chop it up, put it in the freezer. I wrap it individual, like approximately what a serving would be. I thought, oh, this will last me for 2 meals. Well, now no, I'm eating one of those for a meal, which is a lot. And I just had my breakfast about 2 hours ago. I'm still full, and I probably will be till 5. I had a thing of meat about that big, probably 800, 900 calories, and then I had 2 eggs and 2 soft fried eggs. That was my breakfast, and that'll last me for a long time. And you don't really get tired of it. Eggs, a little bit maybe, but the meat, no, I don't get tired of the steak. And if I do, hey, up 3, how are you doing? Peace to you. Haven't seen you forever. Up 3. Yeah, it's been how many years since I've seen you? My doctor allows me to eat in an 8-hour window, breakfast at 11 and dinner around 5 or 6. Well, you've got somebody with you that you're cooking for too, and that makes a big difference. I'm by myself, so I can eat whenever I want and eat whatever I want. When I get tired of eating, like if meat sounds too heavy, I'll just have seafood. I bought prawns or big shrimp at Costco in the freezer section. I'll have a handful of those, put it in a frying pan with butter, a little bit of garlic powder and salt, and I'll throw some cod in there. It's a good fish if you don't like fish because it doesn't have much flavor, but it's really good, good to eat. Yeah, you cook for your husband. Well, there are people that have kids and they do carnivore and they do keto and the kids aren't. But most moms, when they see how much better they feel doing keto, they realize it's the food that's causing health problems. They will start watching more what they feed their kids and their family because they don't want them it saves on doctor bills too, by the way. But when they realize how toxic the food is that they've been using, they will automatically start adjusting the dinners and lunches and breakfasts to help keep the kids healthy. You want health for your kids and your family, right? So let's see what else they have. Anything? There's a lot of things like chaffles. You can make. I made a carnivore waffle the other day. I didn't put any baking soda or baking powder in it. Some people allow stuff like that. Depends how like some people do the lion diet, which is basically just beef and water, or meat like chicken and water. You don't have any salt. You'll have salt because lions lick salt, I guess. But other than that, you don't eat anything that a lion doesn't eat, which is pretty. Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. And for most people doing carnivore, they go into it like I did, thinking, well, I'll try it. I will try it and see how things go. I didn't expect to stay on it, but at this point, with very little variation, I'm going to stay on it. I think I would use like stevia. A lot of people say, oh, don't use stevia because if you're used to drinking sugary drinks, or if you're a sugar addict, like if you crave cakes or cookies or cupcakes or pie, anything like that, if you crave that and that's something you just, or then they really highly recommend you don't use any sweetener. With me, it didn't bother me. I was like, I'd like I bought Zevia Pop yesterday. I bought a ton of it. It was pretty expensive, but it was on sale, cheaper than I've seen it in a long time. So I grabbed a bunch of it, and I grabbed just the soda. I'm getting used to drinking just plain flavored soda water, like lime. I bought some pineapple yesterday. That sounds kind of good. And I'll put that in here and add a little bit of salt to it. It actually tastes pretty good. It's like a flavored element. So Yeah, so it's good to get, if you're going to do this, I mean, if you guys decide to do this, I'm here. I mean, ask me questions. If you have any questions, I can point you to things. You know, if you do start keto, I never drank water, even when I was fighting fire and it was 100 degrees outside, and I'd walk up a hillside, back down, dragging a 50-foot hose or 50-pound hose. I'd go up with 2 quarts of water and come back down with 2 quarts of water. I never got thirsty. My mouth would get a little dry, but I just didn't want water. And that is because it took me a while to figure that out. And they tried to force me to drink water and I couldn't do it. Because when you're working out, hi Eunice, how are you? Good to see you, young lady. You sweat. What happens when you sweat? You sweat out your electrolytes. You sweat out the nutrients that your body needs to operate. And I never used to sweat that much. My knuckles here would sweat. When I'd exercise, do anything, I'd get a tiny bit of, I'd see little beads across the tops of my knuckles, but I never used deodorant because I never sweat. I never did. Even out marching up and down mountains with firefighting, I didn't sweat. But if I was going to sweat, I'd get in the house. If I was smart, because I had a hillside I used to hike up all the time. 15 minutes after I got done, I would start to have a little bit of a flush of sweat. But that's because your body is trying to hang on to every bit of those electrolytes it can, so it shuts off the sweating, your cooling mechanism. Plus, my body was always colder than it should have been, so that wasn't a big deal for me. I mean, I felt hot, but my body was still under temperature. So what happened when I started doing keto was I started drinking for the first time in my life. Actually, it wasn't like I was dying of thirst, but I would drink. It's like, wow, that's really weird. And I go to the bathroom more, of course, but my body was finally the metabolism was starting to normalize. And that's why I was able to take more heat and more cold. Winters were absolutely torture for me. I don't like them now. I still get cold, but not like I used to. But I'll tell you what, doing keto, if I ate something I wasn't supposed to, like a cupcake or a piece of pie, even in a room where it's like right now it is 81, 82 degrees in here, I would get cold. I would start shivering. My body temperature would go sugar and the carbs. I was like, boom. Immediately, almost within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'd be freezing and I couldn't sleep. That night, I did not sleep. Sugar is an excitotoxin and it will keep your brain firing off and you won't be able to sleep. So if you got sleeping problems, first thing people on Carnivore notice is how good they sleep. And I noticed the second night. The seed oil from my Thousand Island dressing and or the vegetables I ate in the salad were literally keeping me awake. Don't know why. I think the seed oils had a lot to do with it, but still, people that quit eating vegetables say all of their IBS goes away, their Crohn's disease, all this other stuff just vanishes when they start doing carnivore, which tells me their body is reacting to something they're eating. Excuse me. So it's what you're putting in your mouth. Thank you for the thumbs up, you guys. I appreciate that. So yeah, if you think about doing it, and you can even be out there and come in and ask me questions if you need to, but the keto thing isn't that hard to do. You've got a lot of choices. You've got a lot of options. There are tons of good keto recipes now. When I first started, no, not so much. And if you did see something keto, was hard to find. Keto ingredients were really hard to find. But now not so much. And you can go on Amazon and order things too. But keto is a good way to start out, and if it fixes what ails you, then that's awesome. It almost always helps with blood sugar. It helps with everybody I know that went on keto went off of their blood pressure medicine, their diabetes medicine. Think about that. A whole bunch of different kinds of medicines, they went off of them when they got on keto and stayed with it. You don't want to cheat. I mean, if you're cheating, you're only cheating yourself. After you're on it for like 3 to 6 months, and you go on a cruise or something and have a day or two when you're eating something you shouldn't, You'll know pretty fast that you feel like crap. You're going to get the acid reflux back. You're going to get headaches. You're not going to be able to sleep, but you're going to know that. And it's kind of like a lesson. It was like get cracked over the head with a ruler. It's like, okay, yeah, and you get the sore joints, or in my case, my joints here would just literally pop out of joint. They don't do that. They haven't done that since I started Carnivore. They don't even hurt. There's no pain there at all now. And just before I started Carnivore, I noticed that I was getting pain here, like in my tendons too. That's inflammation. Your body is having inflammation. What else did I notice? It was inflammation that was bothering me. Oh, most pain, I think, is inflammation. And it stops when you do this. I see people, I go look at Tim Lull, and he's had a lot of health problems. I think, boy, this stuff has helped him so much. But, you can tell people stuff, but you can't force them to do something. If they only knew how they get their life back and feel like $1 million just by changing what they're eating. You're not depriving yourself on keto, not at all. I mean, I made keto syrup, maple syrup, that was of course not real maple, but it had maple flavoring. And I used that on my truffles, which were just like waffles, but with cheese and some other stuff in it that was keto. You're not really restricted. You can make keto cake, you can make keto pudding. Actually, there's a carnivore. Now, with the carnivore, you've got your basic of meat, animal stuff. So you can have cream, you can have eggs. Well, guess what you can make with cream and eggs? You can make creme brulee, you can make a pudding, you can make and a lot of people on Carnivore, there's some that are super strict, like, oh, you can't have vanilla, you can't have this or that. They won't let you have any sweeteners. Like I said, if you're addicted to sweets, that's a thing. But you can make a carnivore eggnog if you like eggnog. But what you'll be using is a little bit of like a sprinkle of nutmeg or cinnamon, which I don't like eggnog with that on it. But you can have the eggs, the egg yolks, cream. You cook it until it's thick. Add your vanilla, and then add a sweetener, which I would use stevia. The stevia drops are the easiest, and they have great flavors. You can have coffee if you're not as strict. If you can, some people are allergic to coffee, oddly enough, but it's just water ran over coffee beans. But some people say, yeah, you can have it. Other people say, no, it'll stall your weight loss. Well, I stopped drinking coffee for a month. I stopped doing dairy for a month. I stopped doing stevia for a month, all at the same time. I didn't lose anything. I didn't gain anything. So okay, I'm going to start up again. I started up again. I didn't lose anything. I didn't gain anything. So I'm one of those people that's lucky enough to be able to have dairy, apparently. Certain dairy. Like I said, I had problems with the yogurt. And that was a yogurt that I made myself. So I knew what was in it. So no yogurt at this time. But I can have the dairy, I can have stevia, and I can have the coffee. Dr. Berry said if he eats stevia, he gains weight, which is just odd. If you're gaining weight from something like that, it's probably raising your insulin. So are you getting insulin resistance? He used to be really heavy, which surprised me. So anyway, on Carnivore, there are options if you're not like super, super strict, and your body they'll say if you can tolerate it. And sometimes you have a sensitivity. You might have a sensitivity to cream. Was it Carrie? He said that people that weren't losing weight, he says once they stopped using cream, boom, the weight came off. Well, I didn't experience that, so that's not my problem. Mine's insulin resistance. Like I said, so I got thinking about it. I thought, when I did keto, I didn't lose weight at first. So I thought probably with Carnivore, it's going to be the same thing. And sure enough. So like Jill, she lost weight almost from the first day she started Carnivore. Just started piling off of her. She doesn't have any, and she's a little tiny thing. She's a petite little gal. And she was a big girl. We had similar body size. I mean, for not height, but just our size overall. We had the same look to us. And now, after, I don't know when she noticed it, but she showed me the picture of her flexing, and she looked like a bodybuilder. It was mind blowing. And she says, I don't lift weights. She goes, I have a vibration plate. And she goes, I have a weight that I hold. And, you're kind of, if you're on a vibration plate, you're trying to normalize your what do you call it? Your equilibrium. So maybe a little bit of that, but she literally looks like she lifts weights. And she doesn't. And she doesn't have saggy skin, which most diets you do it, and you see them on YouTube all the time. I had to have my skin cut off, and I look so great now. Which they do; they look good after they get it cut off. But if they were doing this, they might not have the problem. But anyway, yeah. So start out with keto, super easy anymore. But you just have to read every label. There are calorie. Use My Fitness Pal. Will tell you how many carbs you're eating. Because even with carnivore, what they say, I had carbs in something. It was kind of weird. It was a weird thing. It was like 5 carbs a day. I think it was the coffee had 2 carbs in it or something. I had 2 cups of coffee. It was weird. It's like, I don't know if it has carbs. I don't think it does. But yeah, keto is easy. The whole family can do it. Not even know I've made things, keto stuff, and brought it to gatherings. People gobble it up, have no idea that it's good for them. My favorite thing to bring, because everybody seems to like it. I'm not a big cheesecake fan. And I never, even when I did eat it, I would never eat the crust. I hated the cheesecake crust. Other people, oh, it's my favorite part. I couldn't stand the crust on cheesecake. So there is an almond flour alternate you can make. And when I'd make a cheesecake, I would do that, and I would pre-bake it so it was firm, because this is made kind of the same way. It's almond flour, butter. I can't remember, some sweetener, vanilla. And it seems like I put in an egg white to make it more firm and a little bit crunchy. Not crunchy, but just have some firmness to it when I made it. But I found that I just didn't like cheesecake all that much. And I made some good cheesecake. People loved it. But what I liked was the batter. When cheesecake was in the pot and cooking, I'd eat some of the batter, what was left over on the egg beaters or whatever. It's like, I like that way better than the cheesecake. Then I found a no-bake cheesecake recipe, and it's so easy. Oh my gosh. And people love, my sister, she gobbled it up. She really liked it. It's just a 8-ounce chunk, the block cream cheese. You let it sit out and get soft. And you take a cup of heavy whipping cream, put some vanilla in it. I used allulose, or stevia, whatever I got handy that's within arm reach, and to taste. And you can put a little bit of lemon oil in there, because most cheesecake has a lemon thing to it. And you just whip the whipped cream, not until it's stiff peaks, but it's kind of soft peaks. So it's holding its shape, but it's not hard like that crumbly kind of stuff. You want it soft and kind of like Dream Whip, just like Dream Whip. You want it like Dream Whip. Or Cool Whip, excuse me, Cool Whip. And then you take the block of cream cheese separately in a separate bowl, and you put the the sweetener and vanilla and a little bit of lemon in that, or you put whatever flavor you want in it, and you whip it. You use egg beaters, and you beat it until it's kind of fluffy a little bit. And then you take the whipped cream and you just put it in blobs in there, and you fold it in with a spatula. Just fold it in. You don't want to like mix it. You just want to fold it in. That makes them super easy, super fast. Everybody likes it. I love that so much more than any cheesecake. I would take that hands down over any cheesecake any day. And if you're doing keto, you can drizzle like a berry compote. So you can take each day. You can have, if it fits in with your carbs, because you have 20 carbs a day on keto. If you're a guy, you get away with a little bit more, but not much. You can take and have 1/4 cup of berries a day. That means strawberries or blackberries or mulberries, whatever berry. And you can take them and mash them all up and run them through a sieve and get like a syrup and drizzle it over the top. So that with keto, you can do that stuff. With carnivore, you're not going to be eating berries. You're not going to be doing stuff like that. But the no-bake cheesecake is carnivore, cream and cream cheese. But some people say, yeah, you can use, they don't bark at you if you use, Susie. Even if you're not keto, it is amazing. It's so good. It's like, yum, yum. Makes my mouth water just thinking about it. So you can do that. But so you're not totally out on some people like, you do lose your taste for sugar. I noticed that the first week. I made 6 ramekins of creme brulee because I thought, well, I might just want something sweet because I'm not, when you can't have something, you kind of think about it, right? Most times, didn't happen on carnivore. It was really weird. About I started on Sunday, about Wednesday, because I had Sunday was Easter. I'm glad that I started on that day because it's easy to go back and I don't have to think about when it happened. Easter, go back to Easter Sunday. That's when I started. So I made these ramekins of go back to Easter Sunday. That's when I started. So I made these ramekins of carnivore creme brulee, and I did use some sweetener in it because it's no good without sweetener. I mean, that's just the way that some people think they don't mind it, but I don't like it like that. So I made it that way, and I had it Easter Sunday with my dinner, my first carnivore dinner. Usually I'd eat one of those a day and still be tempted to eat more than one. The next day, I had no desire. The day after that, I had no desire. Nothing sweet sounded good. And I think I got into after a week, I thought, I better start eating those or I'm going to have to throw them out. I just didn't really want them. But, well, that's good for my fat. It helps fill up my calorie thing for the day. So I ate them, but it was almost under duress, which was really weird. So, yeah, by doing that, it just, a lot of people say that they notice their desire for sweets kind of just, and if you're just starting, like if you haven't been doing keto, it's probably going to be a little bit different for you. Not always, but you're going to probably think about sweets or what you could have for like a week or two. Some people, rarely, I heard, some people might crave things for a month, but it's very unusual. But you've got people like Kelly Hogan, who's been doing this for 15 years, and she said cream tastes sweet to her. And oddly enough, just last night, I had, sometimes before I go to bed, if I feel like I might be hungry, I'll just have a tablespoon of cream and I could taste the sweet in it. It was really weird. It's like, oh, now I know what she's talking about. There is a sweetness to it that I never noticed before. But she'll make ice cream. She takes cream, beats it up, puts raw eggs in it, egg yolks, I think some vanilla, and just puts it in the freezer. And she has that for breakfast. She says sometimes, she goes, usually a cup, but sometimes I've eaten 3 cups of cream in a day, she said. But she eats a lot of calories. But she, you know what she does? Don't think that you can just do that. She has a standing desk where she's standing, but she has a treadmill. And she has a treadmill. She's just walking on that treadmill the whole time she's on camera. You won't even know it. She's just sitting there talking like nothing, but she's walking that treadmill. So she's using she's burning a lot of fuel. And I think she said her normal intake, I think it's 2,400 to 3,100 calories a day. Yeah, that's a lot. But her ice cream stuff without the sweetener in it. No, I've used a lot less sweetener than I used to. That super sweet taste that you're used to because you're eating ice cream or cookies or candy or whatever, that almost makes me want to puke. Thinking about how sweet it is, it's a revulsion to me, which is good. That's a good thing. That means I'm not going to want it. And what was it, Ferrigno? Dante Ferrigno, he talked about after being on carnivore for, I think he said a year, something like that. He bit into a cookie. Somebody gave him a cookie and he bit into it and he said he spit it out. He said it tasted like cardboard. He said it tasted like flour. He said it was like taking a spoon and putting it in a container of flour and putting it in my, he says it was horrible and he spit it out. And he said that year he tried 3 different times to eat a cookie and he couldn't do it because it tasted nasty. And he said he tried, his favorite was those brownies. He tried one of those, he couldn't eat it. So that's a good thing. I mean, the poisons, it might be what he's sensing is the poisons in there. That's why he tasted the flour, because of all the Roundup on it. I don't know what the reason is, but he didn't want it. And I've noticed I'm not craving. I walked in Walmart, was it yesterday? And I went past the bakery and it was like it wasn't even there. And it used to be every once in a while I'd go over there and buy a little pie or a little cupcake every month, or probably every other month I'd buy something like that and just think, well, so I'm gonna feel like crap for 2 or 3 days. I'll deal with it. Yeah, I wasn't even tempted. I think there was even one of my favorites was not cream. I like cream puffs. That's kind of like a cream puff, and they had some stuff there's like I didn't even register that it was food. To me, it doesn't even look like food, so I don't even pay attention to it. And that's food freedom. That's what they talk about. You'll see people on carnivore saying, I have freedom from food now. I don't crave things. I'm not driven to eat things I'm not supposed to eat. The longer you're on it, the better you're going to do. Like I've been on it. I knew after the first month I was probably going to stick with carnivore. Cool. I just got to where I wasn't eating stuff anyway. I might have fruit. Like at Christmas, I might have an orange. Like I said on keto, I told myself at Christmas I can have a couple oranges if I want. The rest of the year, I don't eat them. But that's when the best oranges are out anyway. I might have strawberries. Like I might have a couple strawberry on keto. You can have strawberries, and I've always loved them. But I just allowed myself to have something on keto, only at a certain part of the year. And I know at Christmas time, I thought if I want eggnog, which I love eggnog, I'll make it myself. I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to make it myself. That way I know what's in it. And I never did. I never made eggnog. So it's like, I guess I didn't like it that much anyway. So I loved it, I thought. But it's if you stick your nose to the grindstone and say, I'll never, ever eat a cherry ever again in my whole life, what do you think you're going to want? Even though you don't really want it, your brain's going to say, oh, gosh, I wish I had a cherry. They're so pretty. They're shiny. The color's beautiful, juicy. I mean, that's your brain's going to be doing that because your brain has a little demon in there that messes with you. But so I allow yourself to screw up. You just don't want to do it all the time, right? So I screw up. I haven't on carnivore. And I don't expect to. But if I want to have something I'm not supposed to have, say in 3 months from now, a little bit, just a little bit. And one thing interesting, you go to town, you're not thinking about what restaurant to eat at. Saves you a ton of time. You're not thinking, oh, I want to go to Chinese food. I used to love Chinese food. It's like, yeah. It doesn't sound that good to me anymore. And I'm used to like, no noodles, stuff like that. I was like, it took me a while, probably a month to get over that. Because even on keto, you can have konjac noodles, which are a fairly good substitute. And it's some kind of a root that doesn't have any carbs in it. It's like a vehicle to get the sauce, basically. But yes, with carnivore, it's pretty simple. I made some jerky the other day. I didn't know it was going to be jerky. I just wanted to make some meat slices and see how it turned out. And there's Bill again. I put it in the food dehydrator, and it's like jerky. I did put some Worcestershire and some soy sauce in there. And then I took it out of the brine. I didn't rinse it off, but I shook it off. So there's a trace of that stuff there. But yeah, they turned out really good. They're flavorful. They got salt, a little bit of salt in there. And I think I put some onion powder. But overall, it's still carnivore, in my opinion. Maybe other people that are strict will say, oh, but you have a little bit of that. I don't think it's that big. Unless you're allergic to that stuff. If you're allergic to soy, or allergic to I put some liquid smoke in it too, which I looked at the ingredients. It's water, smoke, some kind of smoke that they were able to condense, a touch of molasses for color, and caramel color. That's all that's in it. But it gave it a nice smoky flavor. But it was good. I didn't eat a bunch of it, but it's good. My father-in-law was on low carb diet a long time ago. He would burn his toast to reduce the carbs. Yeah, I can't. Toast, if I ate even a half a piece of toast or bread a day, I'd be not big. My body does not do carbs. Maybe it's the wheat. I don't know. Anyway, so this morning I weighed 194.6, which is the lowest I've weighed since I started doing this, and since yesterday. I don't know why I lost that amount of weight overnight. I'm happy. I hope it stays that way. I hope I continue to look, because like I said, Elizabeth Bright said at 10.5 weeks, for some reason, some people will start losing weight where they didn't lose any before. I'm hoping them that. I am going to be in Kelly Hogan's class tomorrow. It's a group thing once a week. You can pick whatever time. She's had a lot of different, right now her July classes are probably filled up, but it's like if you're just starting out, keto or carnivore. Oh, thank you, Susie. It was a big thing. Big thing, really, because it's nice to see the scale going down instead of up. but I'll be in there at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for an hour. And it's once a week for a month. And this is expensive, but I wanted to see what she did because I'm considering I need to get nobody's going to listen to somebody about losing weight if you're fat, right? So I'm considering taking a counseling class. It's a really expensive one. But I should be able to make that money back. Dr. Barry is teaching it. He and his wife, and it goes from September to February, I think. Very intensive. Plus, he teaches you how to make up a business plan, which I'm pretty weak in the business area. Website, how to get customers, how to promote things, plus learning about Carnivore, how it works. Plus, and you'll have, if you do join the class, you'll have lifetime access to Dr. Barry and his wife. So if you have questions, somebody's got something going on like I did with my insulin resistance without even realizing that's what my problem was, say they're not losing weight a certain way. He's seen a lot of people and he has a lot of answers. So having access to him to help anybody and he said I'd be able to work in a doctor's office with this. He said there's going to be a lot more people, and I agree. He said this is at the cutting edge of the benefits of Carnivore. More and more people are waking up to the benefits. He said, and the health system, people are going to start waking up, and they're going to need counselors. I know, here I am. I've been asking God about a job from home that I could work in my house, and if I moved, I would still be able to have clientele, or whatever is still a business. It didn't have to be clientele. I didn't even consider this, but it sounds like it's kind of what I'd like to do because when I'm on PSB, I'm helping people with health things most of the time anyway. So, but I need to lose weight, and that's what's happening now. So hopefully by September, I'll be svelte. That'd be nice because I'm looking forward. My thing is, I like nice clothes. And I don't care what other people think of me. I can wear, if I was wearing something from the 30s, as long as I felt good in it and liked it, I don't care what anybody thinks of it. If I feel good in it, that's what matters. And I want to feel good in my clothes again. I mean, look what I'm wearing. Look at this. It's an oversized t-shirt. I've had it since I bought this at the Red Pill Expo. What was that, 6 years ago in Spokane? Yeah, I bought this there. That's when, what was his name? I just lost it, it's gone. But anyway, yeah, so I'm wearing slobby clothes. My pants have paint all over them. I'm wearing slobby stuff. I want to wear nice clothes. I want to be able to wear nice shorts and sleeveless tank in the summertime, which I'm not. Yeah, Dr. Barry is awesome. He's a very smart guy. But there's Dr. Elizabeth Bright also. There is a lot of doctors. Dr. Bosworth. A lot of doctors involved in this now, and I wanted to do this with Dr. Berg, or not Berg, but Barry, because he is a big name in healthcare. A lot of people know who he is. I wanted to get an accreditation from him and his wife because I felt that would give me more street cred. It would be, I was like, okay, this is the gold standard doctor. I want to train with him because that will help me. And I might take other classes from other doctors to help bolster things up. I do a lot of my own research anyway. I'm always watching carnivore videos and keto videos and health videos, probably a dozen at least a week. I do that anyway, and I do that for fun because I really like the learning. So I'm hoping that things will go that way. We'll see. We'll see how I do. If I get up tomorrow and I'm like even 1 pound lighter, I'll be like, yes, finally. Ooh, I get the trophy. I'd like to see this stuff go away. And this stuff, the blobbage. Is that a blobby? The flobbage. Because if I can do it, anybody can do it. Although I have to tell you, I have a lot of drive. And if I've got my mind on something, I don't cheat. To me, it's just cheating. It's a waste of time. Why am I going to cheat? So I'm one of those people, I don't really have a problem so much. I'll have a brief struggle now and then if I start something, but for the most part, no. Carnivore, not cheating. Why would I cheat? I really want to see what the results are after 3 months. And maybe the next 5 months, see where it goes, see what happens. So if it's working for me, where our keto stopped working, I started gaining weight and I had to cut things out. Well, if it's taken 11 or 10 and a half weeks, maybe I'm getting all the seed oil residue out of my system. What if it took that long? What if it took that long to get those toxins out of my system? I'm not going to screw that up. I don't want to have to go another 10 and a half weeks to lose 5 pounds. Crazy. No way, man. No way. But if this seems to be working, I'm going to stick with it till I get to my goal weight and then start introducing, because most people do 3 months and then introduce something in. Am I reactive to, I don't have a desire to do that. I want to, in my mind, getting down to my goal weight is where health is. It's a reflection. Losing weight is a symptom of getting well. So if I'm losing weight, I know that I'm getting well. It's healing different things in my body that needs to be healed, things like that. Oh, thank you, Susie. Working on it. But yeah, see, I look so rough. I mean, at nighttime you don't see it because I have ambient light, but you can see I look rough. Rough. This will all be pulled up. When I was on keto and I got thin, it actually did pull up. I got pictures of myself that I took. Somebody wanted a picture of me, so I took a picture, and it's like all this stuff. I had this before I did keto. I had all this stuff. I don't think it'll get rid of it. I might get rid of this wrinkle here. I've got a fret mark, but no, I'm looking forward to see. So I kept saying, I need to marry a billionaire so I can get a facelift, but maybe this is my facelift. We'll see. I think it will be, because my dad looks ill out. That's all fat cheeks. I'm puffy. I'm fluffy. So yeah, I've got a bone structure under there, but nobody's seen it for a long time. So anyway, what time is it? How long have I been on here? An hour and a half. That's a long time. And so I think I'm going to turn you guys loose, but I'll be probably back on Saturday because that'll be the start of my 11th week or 12th week. No, this is my 10th. I think. Maybe this is my 11th. I don't know. However long it's, we're close. We're close to my 3-month mark. I think this is my 10th. Yeah, so I'm at 10 and a half right now. So I'll be on Saturday because Sunday is my start of the new week and hopefully I'll have lost a few pounds between now and then. If that's so, then woo-hoo, let the party begin. So I'm going to turn you guys loose. I got to call Bill back and see what he wanted. And thanks for being with me, you guys. I appreciate it. And thanks for this thumbs up. I appreciate that too. But good to see everybody out there. And let's see, what's the day? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So about 4 days. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Susie, yeah, try that recipe for this. Super easy to remember. The 1 cup of cream, 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese softened. And you can I guess you can't really. And then vanilla in both, a little sweetener in both, and lemon or whatever flavor you want to put in there. I tried it with orange oil and it was really good. But yeah, it's nice and fluffy and it's so good. You'll love it. You can even whip up separate whipped cream and put it on top, because the whipped cream and the cream cheese, once they get mixed together, it gets thick, like a pudding almost. Even though you're not mixing, you're just folding it in. If you put it in the fridge, it'll get firm. So then you can take whipped cream and put on top, and it's just like yumminess. Oh, Susie, you're gonna love it. And it's nice for the summertime too. It's a nice cooling thing. Oh, you bet. Thank you for being here, Nancy. It's good to see you. All right, you bet. God willing, we'll see you regardless, either in heaven or here. So, thank you all for being with me today. I appreciate it. God bless you guys, and go with God.